A deadly terror attack unfolding in London. Police confirming just moments ago 2 people have died after a stabbing near the iconic London Bridge. 3 others were injured.
I am deeply saddened and angered that our city of London has again been targeted by terrorism. It is with the heaviest of hearts that I have to inform you that, as well as the suspect who was shot dead by police, 2 of those injured in this attack in the London Bridge area have tragically lost their lives.
Police officers shot and killed the suspect, who was wearing what looked like an explosive device, but they believe that device was in fact a fake. Witnesses recorded what appeared to be members of the public tackling the suspect. You're looking at that here, taking away the knife before the suspect was ultimately killed by police. And I do want to warn you, some of the video we're about to show you is graphic.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
CNN's Nick Payton-Walsh is live for us in London tonight. Nick, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says the situation has been contained to the best of their knowledge. So what's happening on the ground right now?
Well, in the next 20 minutes or so, the British Prime Minister will meet with his top security officials in the sort of basement of Downing Street to discuss this unfolding situation. Behind me, though, we just learned from the head of London Police that actually the Fishmonger Hall on the other side of the river there is where they believe the attack began. And you can just see up on the bridge the tent erected by British police where we understand the actual killings themselves, or the attack on the assailant, or the restraining of the assailant, seems to have occurred. But here's how today's events unfolded. Terror returns to London Bridge. Recorded by witnesses from multiple angles, a group of people appear to restrain a man on the ground. Members of the public pull back. Firearms police drag one man away. Then 2 shots are heard.
A male suspect was shot by specialist armed officers from the City of London Police, and I can confirm that this suspect died at the scene. A number of other people received injuries during this incident. I'm now in a position to confirm that it has been declared a terrorist incident. I can confirm at this time we believe a device that was strapped to the body of the suspect is a hoax explosive device.
A knife is seen pulled from the scuffle, yet still many ordinary Londoners appear to have thrown themselves at the assailant to restrain him.
I also want to pay tribute to the extraordinary bravery of those members of the public who physically intervened to protect the lives of others. And for me, they represent the very best of our country, and I thank them.
I was also in the Boston Marathon attacks in 2013, and also a very similar experience while I was at the marathon, sort of 20 minutes or something, I can't remember how long, but just before it actually happened, and sort of a very similar thing of just having a flood of people just running and not really knowing what was happening, and just fear, like a huge amount of fear on their faces. And you could feel it as well in the energy of just everyone stressing out.
The identity and motive of the suspect remains unclear. Similar horror befell London Bridge in June 2017 when 3 attackers drove a van into pedestrians and then launched a savage knife attack, some also wearing hoax explosive vests. Police killed the attackers in minutes, but still 8 victims died. After that attack, roadside barricades went up in London, some visible in these videos today.
Excuse me, what happened?
London Bridge would have been bustling at that time with commuters and workers in the city. The extraordinary speed of the police response and reaction of members of the public, a sign of how practiced and anticipated the horror of such attacks are in London. Now, of course, the key unanswered question is, who was this man? What was his motivation? Terror-related, the police say, but it's unclear what ideology may have been fueling him. And sad to say, too, UK security service have long pointed to mental health often being a contributing factor to incidents like this. But London Bridge now trying to get back to normal, almost heartwarming scenes of seeing restaurateurs inviting police patrolling the area here, trying to make people safe in for a cup of tea. But that bridge behind me now still jammed with the buses that were stopped by police as the incident unfolded. You can see the lights still going on there. London, sadly, too used to this kind of attack. Erica?
Yeah, too used to it indeed. Nick Payton-Walsh live for us in London tonight. Thank you. As we look at what we do know, as Nick just pointed out for us there, we don't know a lot at this hour about the suspect. But the fact, Paul, that British police are saying this is a terror attack. Again, we don't know the motive. I haven't seen a claim of responsibility to this point anyway, unless I somehow missed something. But based on what we do know and the information that's come out, Paul, where is your mind at this time?
Well, one interesting detail is this fake suicide vest, and we've seen the use of fake suicide vests in several ISIS-inspired attacks in Europe and in the West in recent years. One was on that very same bridge 2 years ago when 3 attackers wearing fake suicide vests did a knife attack on that bridge and the surrounding area. There was also an attack in January 2016 in Paris on a police station where the perpetrator had a fake suicide vest. And more recently in Catalonia in August 2017, the perpetrators had fake suicide vests. And in those attacks, the reason presumably they were wearing fake suicide vests is because they wanted to be killed by police, because they wanted to become martyrs, because in their warped worldview, they wanted to go to paradise for doing that. Was that the case with this attacker in London today? We don't know yet because the police are not telling us what they think the motivation was. They are not specifying yet that this was a jihadi attack.
What's interesting, too, is the location. So with all of you, frankly, we have talked far too many times about these types of areas, right? This is well known around the world. It's iconic. Tourists are here. But this is also, this area, London Bridge, very close to the major financial center of London. Adding all of that up, Juliet, we talk a lot about protecting a lot of these targets. Nick just laid out for us there some of the barriers that went in place after 2017.
That's exactly right. Look, I mean, in any urban environment like this in London, and now we're seeing in The Hague, you are only going to be able to minimize the risk for the public. You will not get it to zero. So how we think about it in security is what kind of layered defenses can you have, especially for such a vibrant area around where London Tower is. So you do things to sort of try to stop the high consequence events, including cars that would have caused a lot more damage than a knife. But you also focus on what we call right of boom, which is after the incident, how fast can first responders get there? You engage the public, as we saw here, and then there's a remarkable response within seconds by the Metropolitan Police, who obviously had to shoot to kill because they had no idea when they see the vest, they have no idea whether further harm may ensue. So that is exactly how you have to think about it. Try to prevent something bad from happening. But if it does, are people prepared to stop more bad things from happening?